Hello everyone, welcome back to a new replay cast. Today we're going to be looking at a best of 5 plate between ShoWTimE and Serral. First map is going to be Lightshade. We see ShoWTimE already with that first probe managing to block the natural of Serral. As I started the recording a little bit late, but no one cares about that. So we see ShoWTimE just opening with the standard stuff. You know, it's going to be getting that cybernetic score after that Nexus, while probably trying to do some harassment. Serral's one of the guys that likes to temporarily pull workers. I didn't know he chased all the way around. I thought, yeah, he usually just tends to go back. So he gives 1 or 2 hits, making sure that the harass isn't too hard. And then, pop, he pisses back off. So he misses about 5 minerals every single time you do it. Like, he misses a full cycle of mining almost every single time. I'm not quite sure if that actually is worth it. I have to admit. Here we're going to see this drone missing a cycle as well. So I think this probe did about between 15 and 20 minerals of damage here. We saw 3 pulls of the drone. Now, of course, he got the natural block up as well. So pretty decent start here for ShoWTimE, I would say. He did a good job with that harassment. Also have an adept into a warp gate start here. And Serral's going to go straight into the main base, not wanting to mess about. ShoWTimE sees that. He wanted to build something here. I think there was a Twilight that he was going to build there, right? Yeah. Then decides against it as he sees the Overlord. He's like, alright, you want to send in the Overlord real fast? Guess what? I'm going to build a Twilight in my natural. Now, of course, this will allow Serral to most likely spot that with a secondary Overlord. If he decides to move here or if he checks with a Ling. I think Ling, if he moves into one of the corners, will be able to see the Twilight Council here. Oh, this Ling is going to be able to spot it. So that's nice. Overlord's going to move to the back, might be able to poke in later to see any type of follow-up tech. Robotics facility is coming down already. We're seeing 2 workers being pulled out of gas here, so this is indicating a glaive build. Now, glaive build hasn't been as popular as of late anymore. A lot of people have kind of figured out how to deal with it in the most efficient way, I want to say. I'm curious to see what ShoWTimE's plan here is. He's chrono boosting pretty hard on the Nexus still. That surprises me. We don't see that a lot. We're not seeing extra gates being added either. Here comes 1 gate. Now this could be the 3 gate follow-up that also uses a very fast robo bay. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to see here as we see the 3rd pylon going down. Now this variation is going to have an extremely fast robo bay. It's going to have 2 less adepts once glaive finishes because of you're lacking the 4th gate. So we're going to be working with, I believe it's either 11 or 14 adepts, depending how many he wants to warp in. Should still have a double warp in. It's a little bit late on that first warp in, honestly. 4:04, I think that started. It's a bit yikesy in my opinion. We're going to be seeing that Robo Bay come down here ASAP right now. He's going to build it in the corner so it won't get spotted. Serral not building any kind of spores yet, no layer either. Of course, could be a Dark Shrine here as well. Serral does not know if it is a Dark Shrine or Robo Bay or what it is exactly. I would love for ShoWTimE to be able to take out this Overlord. Yeah, it's so nice to be able to do that. It really, really helps if you can take this bad boy out with any type of follow-up attack or any kind of follow-up aggression. Double pylon, because he is kind of supply blocked, honestly. Triple Ravager coming out here, and as 7 adepts are only done at 4 minutes and 50 seconds. It's difficult for me to believe that Serral's going to be happy with this initial defense, because this is really not that great, honestly. Triple Spore coming down right now. Robobay is about to finish up, and here come, yeah, this is 10, just 10 adepts. I don't even think he built a 3rd gateway unit pre-warp gate finishing up. This would have been what, 2, 4, 7, 11. No, 7, 10, of course. Oh, I can't count. Jeez. Okay, so 1 more warp in here. So he's had 3 full cycle warp ins with 3 gates. 1 double gate warp in, and then you get the 13. My math checking out here. Now 3 adepts are gonna get caught. Not sure how Serral saw that. Was that with that Overlord? Or was it just game sense? Maybe a combination of both. Game sense to put the Overlord there. ShoWTimE knows there's an Overlord here. He's gonna take it out with this Stalker, at least push it away. Not sure if he can take it out with these links around. Yeah, actually, I don't think this should be much of an issue. I'm not sure what Serral is planning on doing here, but that's definitely not going to be a viable plan here, my friend. Prism is close by, can just pick up this Stalker at any time. Serral's looking for openings here, is not going to find them. As we see Gravitic Drive finishing up and double Disruptor out right now. Now, The standard follow-up here for ShoWTimE is going to be I believe a Forge, 1 Immortal, into a Colossus, into 2 Colossi, and then doing a double Colossi drop. I've seen this a lot from him. I'd be surprised to see anything else, even though if I know that this is happening, his Zerg opponents also should know this is happening. Now, here comes the Prism. And it's very important that he actually does get some damage. Poor Overlord spread by Serral. You see that completely blind in this corner, and now let that be the angle that ShoWTimE is deciding to come from. I think this is actually going to be able to do some damage. Serral still poking at this army, trying his best. Now let's see what the response time is here for Serral. 1. Oi, oi, oi. 14 workers go down. That is an extremely big deal. This is why you have an Overlord here, Serral. This is why you have an Overlord here. And that's why you don't have 7 hanging over here. See, when we call out these mistakes, we call them out for a reason, because they are mistakes and they do have consequences. 14 workers, was not paying attention to the drop. I accidentally put the camera on ShoWTimE rather than Serral. Happens to the best guys. Now all of a sudden this push is looking pretty mighty, pretty scary. If I was Serral, I would not be feeling good. First Colossi is out already. First Colossus is out already. Second Colossus is on the way as well. Together they make 2 Colossi, or Colossuses, or Colossus. 3 more sentries. Now, this definitely indicates a bigger push. Sentries usually are not an investment into the future. In that they're not going to be good in 2.5 minutes from now. They're not like Templars or Archons in that way. But what they are is in the next minute they're going to be used for. The next minute and a half. When they gain a little bit of energy, they get 2 force fields each. You're going to have a lot of force fields in this army. In combination with a bunch of disruptor shots, Colossi, and a decent Stalker count. I think we went up to 8 gateways total. Yes, I can count 8 gateways total. 2 disruptors. We have 2 Colossi as well, I assume. This push is hitting pretty late, honestly. I think there was a couple of mistakes here by ShoWTimE build order-wise. I think he might have gotten a supply block once or twice. It feels like he's hitting slightly too late. But because of those 14 worker kills, he's still going to be in a fine spot most likely. Here comes a run by. ShoWTimE spots it, gets a Stalker Wild Pin. It's not going to be enough. These Banelings only have +1, so not going to be able to one-shot. Now, there is no charge here. There's a cannon in the main base going to help out against these Zerglings. ShoWTimE actually isn't going to commit here. He says, alright, this is it. Am I a fan of this move? I don't know. He's going to change location, so we're going to see a rotation here. It's going to clear a little bit more creep. No creep being rebuilt here by Serral, by the way. He does have a queen here, but is afraid of moving forward, of course. Doesn't know where that army of ShoWTimE is. I mean, there's no flank set up here at all. Fighting into this many sentries without a flank is extremely difficult with this army. Force fields do need to be good. Pretty decent force field to start with. Now are we going to see any disruptor shots? Usually we won't really... Wait, what? I like it because it allows for very fast rotations coming from ShoWTimE, but I don't like it because it's going to be way easier for Serral to set up any type of run by or any type of flank. I mean, not really run by, any type of flank. Ooh, just in time ShoWTimE response there. It's gonna have enough units in the wall. There's only 1 adept here, another adept being warped in. How many links is this? This is 3-4 rows of links. Gonna stream in right now. ShoWTimE's gonna come back home. Should be able to get all of these links though, which is going to be nice. Not the worst trade. Now usually I'd say this is great because Serral's on 4 base and you know he's probably outmining his opponent by a lot, but he's not actually outmining his opponent by that much in this case. I mean, he only has 6 workers more. Sure, he's outmining him by 4, 500 minerals, and gas is relatively even. It's not like he's on 85 workers. So losing these links actually is painful. It's not free like it usually is, or as it feels like if you're the TOS player. Now, dribbling forward here, coming out of ShoWTimE, who is continuing he's kind of continuing on the same path. So like I said, these sentries are not an investment into the long game. They're an investment into a push that is going to happen relatively soon. And that push never really materialized in my mind. It never really came to fruition in the way that ShoWTimE probably would have wanted it. I mean, he killed 14 workers early on, but by now I feel like that lead has pretty much disappeared. You see a hive. albeit a little bit late. We see run-bys being set up, high baneling count in 62 baneling, 7 more on the way. +2 is finished, which means these probes are going to be extremely vulnerable, and we're lacking major map vision here on the map by ShoWTimE. It's going to be losing all of these probes, I mean, no doubt in my mind about that. 16 workers, even I think he used slightly too many banelings there to take out that Nexus. That was not necessary, Serral, and you know it. You could have just used the biles. I mean, you had plenty of biles there. But, I mean, he did do it very fast. 81 workers right now for Serral. Would not be surprised to see him go up to 10 gas soon. Spire coming down. Double Evo chambers, carapace, as well as range upgrades being researched, as +2 melee is already finished. This is most likely going to turn into a baneling run-by, and once that happens, these probes are just going to die. There's no two ways around that. No, it's going to be a Ling run-by, or, well, not really a run-by, just a Ling sacrifice. A bunch of banelings are being morphed in, but actually ShoWTimE is right on top of this. Good disruptor shots coming down, decent force fields, Archons in the back, not where they want to be. They want to be tanking this. Oh man, way too zoomed in here. This is a good fight here for ShoWTimE actually. I'm surprised by this, that this went this well. Honestly, 62 links on the way. I really think that first disruptor shot on all of those banelings helped him out so much. No flank coming out of Serral either, meaning he did have a big angle here, but it just wasn't enough, it seems like. Now Serral needs to get a lot of banelings out. How many does he have? He has 14. That's not going to cut it. Zealots are gonna die. Disruptor goes down just before he hits a big shot. Archon's gonna fall as well. This is looking very, very painful for Serral here, who has a very high worker count, but just doesn't have the units to really stop this push. I mean, without banelings, these charge slots are going to be absolutely insane. Good kiting back micro here by ShoWTimE. Blinks. Ow, oh my god. Tanks face first with those Colossus, those biles. Of course, the Colossus get hit a little bit faster because they're so tall. Things coming from the sky hit them in the nose real good. Banelings moving forward. Disruptor's gonna go down. Can Serral do this? I mean, he's up in workers still. He lost 17 workers. Went down from 80 to, well, whatever the heck this is. But I mean, ShoWTimE is mining as well. And yeah, GGG gets called a little bit of a throw here by Serral, I feel like, who was in a good lead. I think just slightly too late with that baneling morph. And yeah, ShoWTimE being able to finish it out. 1-0 for ShoWTimE. Let's hop straight into game number 2. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, game number 2, as ShoWTimE is up 1-0 against Serral. Something that has happened before, but usually does not lead to a victory for ShoWTimE. I can't quite remember the last time when ShoWTimE beat Serral in a best of 5 or even a best of 3. It must have been a very, very long time. We see hatchers coming out of Serral, this time just on location. As well as a Nexus and a Cybercore coming down here for Mr. Jonas Sutala. Oh no, sorry, for Mr. Stieber here. So we're looking at the Protoss base. Serral just changed rage there all of a sudden in my mind. It's not quite what I imagined. Ooh, I like this. Now this is one of those things that I feel like still is kind of underused by Protoss players, and that's just getting these random pylon locations, whether that's over here or even over here. Like, players like Hero and Classic love to do this type of stuff, and I feel like right now we're just left with a lot of tosses who aren't too keen on doing these things. So seeing ShoWTimE do this makes me extremely happy. I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a Void Ray. I really would not be surprised if this is a Void Ray. Now the reason I say that is because ShoWTimE has been showing some real affection to the triple Stargate Void Ray build, to my distaste. I'm not a fan of the triple Stargate Void Ray build, but he loves it. Well, love might be a big word, but he's friendly with it. Oh, jeez, come on, ShoWTimE. Can't let these links just get into the main base. Now, funnily enough, this link, if the link doesn't actually spot this, Serral might actually believe that there is a proxy Stargate here. And if Serral believes there's a proxy Stargate, we're going to see faster spores than normal. He's not scouting around the map though. He's not scouting around the map. That's interesting. We're seeing, okay, this is a fast spore. What is it? It's a pretty normal spore actually. I'm not sure why I pretended like it was a fast spore. It's going to get this spore up. We're seeing double Overlord coming out of Serral. As this bad boy is going to die. Phoenix into Oracle. And now we're gonna see, what's the follow-up gonna be? Double gas. Double gas. Okay, this is feeling a lot like a double Stargate build to me. This just smells double Stargate to me. But it's just another Oracle. He's gonna be using it. Only uses 2 adepts as well early on. I just feel like another Stargate is gonna go down here. This is everything indicates a second Stargate going down. But yet we're not seeing it. No, it's a fast robot. This is not fast. It's a robot. Is it fast? No. Is it slow? Not really either. I'm not sure what ShoWTimE is doing here with these two units, but he's not getting the value out of them that he should be. What's the queen count? Usually we're going to be at 5 and around this time. Yes, 5 queens. The moment you see triple Stargate units, I would not be surprised to see either a second spore going up in the main base for Serral, or 1 queen being added. That is something that Serral does like doing. Now, we're going to be seeing something really cool here. So we're going to see a run-by, most likely into the main base. There we go. This is a flyby, really. So what it's going to do is going to lift this queen, clear as many of these drones as possible. It's going to get 5. Slight miss target there. Gets the spore once. Maybe he can even go into this base. I think he actually can. He's not going to do it, though. And so far, it's only going to be... He got 4 Stargate units. This is a massive investment in air, and if he does not actually get value with this, that's a big issue here for ShoWTimE. That's going to be an issue that's really, really going to cost him. I mean, he got a fast prism as well. It's going to go for a double adept drop. This is something we don't really see anymore either. I used to play this, I want to say, early 2019. Very early in 2019. Oi, 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 oi. A year and a half ago, this was really popular. Classic showed this build to us the first time. I want to say on a map called Port Alexander against Dark, and he followed it up with a 10 gate or a 9 gate triple immortal push. Doing some harassment with adepts. Now we're not going to be seeing a big push follow-up. We're just seeing a Twilight and a Forge. 2 extra gateways coming down as well as the gases. Now this was risky. This was not very safe. But against Serral, sometimes it's best to take some freaking risks. Top most of these adepts. Where are the links? Links are not really out of position, honestly. They're in position enough for me that I don't get too worried. Now we have double spores in here, right? Yeah, double spore, single spore down here. We see only a single queen though. That's kind of dangerous if there's 3 oracles nearby. Yeah, there we go. Extra queens moving over. A little bit slow there on the reaction by Serral. 3 oracles trying to make something work, not going to be able to. Now should fly towards his 3rd base, lift this queen, and go for drones. It's not going to lift the queen, it's going to go... that was not it, that was not it. Have these oracles done what they need to do? If you look at 12 worker kills, I mean, it's not bad. He has a prism on the map already. Lose an oracle, that's painful. That really is quite painful. I don't know, guys. We see 2 immortals out already. A couple of Templars being morphed in. 5 drones. Oh, it's the adepts. I was wondering what was killing drones at this point. I mean, 15 drones for 4 Stargate units and a prism. I think this was okay for ShoWTimE. Especially because Serral has been very conservative with droning. Very, very conservative. Opting to go for 15 Hydras before adding any extra drones towards that 4th base. And that surprises me. I wouldn't have minded him going straight to 82, 83 workers. Now we do have +2 on the way as well as Baneling speed here. Prism is idling in the dead space for now. This Lingus. It's like pretending to do something. This is what I used to do when my family used to clean up, you know? Just stand at a table, give other people the things. It's like, here, you bring these plates. You bring these plates to the kitchen. And you hand like the forks to your little brother here. Little brother, you take the... That's what this Ling is doing. No danger for him. I mean, who the hell's gonna take this base? Eventually, probably ShoWTimE, but this guy is safe for now. By the point people take this 5th base, he'll be patrolling this area. So it's just in case there's a prism there, guys. Just, you know, just want to make sure. Proper play. Build a Zergling. Idiot. Yeah, nothing's really happening right now. We see some run-bys being set up here for ShoWTimE. Not really going to work out. Big defense. Now, this is the beauty of having a lot of oracles. It's even greater if you have triple oracle. You can just get so many stasis wards. Do stasis wards count as buildings? Yes, they do. Of course they do. 4 stasis wards are around. 3 of them over here. Nice little semi-wall. Or, well, it is a wall of this area, but it's not a full wall. Here we have Serral actually gonna go into this. I have a difficult time believing that this is going to achieve anything. This is not a good map for Hydraling Bane in general. It's really, really easy to defend. Because there's no real rotations possible for the Zerg player. I mean, any kind of run-bys into the 3rd are going to be spotted light years in advance. So TOS just needs to focus on one area, and that's exactly what ShoWTimE is doing. 5 cannons, 1 battery, 3 stasis in this general area. We see the Prism actually making a semi-retreat, and it's going to probably send in these Zealots at some point. Now, Banix are moving forward, actually going to be able to get something done, I feel like. Take out the battery. This goes way better than I thought it would. Absolutely, yes. Zealots are moving back home. I can't believe this is working. Or is it? Chartles coming from the side. Banelink still in the stasis form. I think ShoWTimE might just be pushing it back. +1 missile attack is about to finish up though, and these Hydras might have something to say about how this game is going. But for now, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a cleanup here for ShoWTimE. Will he micro back this Archon or will he lose it? You'll see it in the next episode of Romanticide with Serral and ShoWTimE. We'll stay alive for now. Battery, cannon, battery going down. New Templar being warped in. Immediately make sure they start gaining that energy. And I wouldn't mind if he warps in 5 Zealots here. Just to try and win some time. Because he needs freaking time right now. He's playing against a guy that smelled blood. He's seen blood. He's tasted blood. And he likes the taste of it. And he wants a little bit more. You can't just buy blood in the shop. Can you? It's not Protoss blood, maybe pig's blood or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if you can buy that in certain shops. One of these gothic shops or something like that, you know, that black magic. Wouldn't be surprised. Prism in the bottom left. It's gonna set up a run by. Or by a harassment group. A little militia. So here comes Serral once again. Once again, very good setup here for ShoWTimE though. This angle, I have to admit, is very, very large. And that's nice, but once there's just enough to deal with the Banelings, Storms, Charge Lot, Archons, Immortals, just push back these Hydras pretty effectively. Big Charge Lot run by, heading towards this this base. Now we see ShoWTimE not really doing much of anything with this run by as of yet. Just A moving it in for now. Keeps A moving it in. It's probably going to lose all of these Zealots actually. Not too surprised by that. Yeah, okay, it's going to try to run back with a couple, but won't succeed. Does win a little bit more time, but I don't think he actually needed that much more time. It's going to allow him to stay to get a 5th base though. Where did that Zergling go? Did he die? Billy, no. Oh man, that makes me sad. Creep spread is insane, by the way. Holy crap, look at that. Man, Serral has no life, just spreading creep the entire day. What the hell? I'm gonna flame him on Discord after this game for that. Is there nothing better to do than practicing his creep spread? Ridiculous. Yeah, ShoWTimE is just in a commanding lead right now, right? Actually, we're gonna be looking at a match point ShoWTimE then. If this game continues as that, he gets freaking carriers. Does he have +1 yet? No, he doesn't. I'm always so disappointed by Protoss players. Whenever you start the fleet beacon, you should always start your +1. But TOS players only get it once they start their carriers. It's a classic. You guys should pay attention to that. It really is quite the classic. We have 2 Zealots moving forward. We have a group of harassers here. moving towards this base. Only Zealots gonna be able to deal with that. Maybe, maybe not. Depends a bit on the micro there. One Archon, one Immortal gonna move over there as well. We see a rotation from Serral going towards the top, and this harass group goes towards the middle. I'm not too worried here for ShoWTimE at all. And once these carriers are out, Serral's going to be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble. And when I say a little bit of trouble, I mean a lot of bit of trouble. He has no carapace upgrades for any of these units, meaning that carriers are going to be doing damage just fine. Shield upgrades being researched right now. We have only 10 Banelings. We have Adrenal Glands on the way, Greater Spire, as well as... I forgot the name of this upgrade. Gives more energy to investors though. Yeah, this is not enough here, Serral. There's not enough stuff. We have a Zealot run by going towards this base. There's nothing to defend. No spines, no units, no nothing. You see a full drone pool here. 1 or 2 queens are going to end up falling. Is Adrenal Glands finished yet? No, it's not. It's not going to matter. These links do a lot of damage. More carriers on the way, by the way. It's going to be carrier 2 and 3. S+1 is nearing completion for these air units as well. I mean, I think ShoWTimE actually should think about clearing some creep. He has a very powerful army. He has good upgrades. And he's playing against a guy that's known to be fantastic in the late game. So I'm not quite sure how much longer you want to wait. But in my opinion, this is an opportunity, my friend. It's an opportunity to pathogen glands. There you go. It's an opportunity to win the game before your opponent gets where he is good. Oh, good Baneling detonations there on these Zealots. Another Zealot run by heading towards the top. Not gonna be able to do too much actually. Zealots running in. How many is this? Is 9? 9 boys. 9 of the boys. Yeah, just gonna walk straight to their death. At the same time though, is this enough Brute Lords actually? Is it? +3, +1? No. Good target fire here with the carriers on the Brute Lords. Just ignoring the Corruptors for now. Realizing that if he kills all the Brute Lords, what will there be on the ground left to deal with this ground army? I think the answer might just be nothing. We see a big semi-surround coming up. I mean, Storms kind of shut that down. 2 carriers killing the final Brute Lord. What's left for Serral here? The answer is not very much. GG gets called. ShoWTimE wins game number 2 and puts himself on match point here in this best of 5. Game number 3 here between ShoWTimE and Serral in this best of 5. Third map is going to be Jagannatha, which I believe this is the most imbalanced map in the map pool for ZVP percentage-wise. Now, that doesn't mean a whole lot. A lot of pros still love this map. A lot of Zergs like this map as well for the short rush distance, meaning 12 pool is quite a potent build order here, and we see it a lot. We see a quick scout coming out of ShoWTimE because of that as well. That gateway scout, which is the optimal opener against any kind of 12 pool. You could say, well, why don't you just scout earlier, for example, before the pylon or after the pylon, so you can also block the natural, but you actually have 40-50 less minerals, and those early game minerals are very, very important against the 12 pool. It is of course still very holdable, but the ideal response to a 12 pool always opens up with a gateway scout. That is just the best scenario you can have as a Protoss player, so that's why we see on this map very often gateway scouts coming out of Protoss, even though in general they're not actually that common. We more often see these pylon scouts trying to block the natural of the opponent, making sure that it hatchery needs to be taken at a third base location, sometimes even forcing a 16 pool in the early game. So a little bit of background there why we're seeing this early gateway scout, or why I believe we're seeing this gateway scout. Perhaps ShoWTimE just forgot to send out his probe. That also tends to happen. Once again, interestingly placed pylon here by ShoWTimE in that corner, and he seems to just kind of alternate between this corner and this corner. From far left to far right. The horseshoe theory does seem to be accurate here. Everything in the end is kind of the same. Once you get to the far right, the far left, it's going to be hard to scout for the Overlord. That they do share. Now, let's see if this Overlord is going to be able to spot this Stargate here in the bottom. I don't think so. And you see Serral actually just poking in. It's like, hey, wait, there's nothing here. That's odd. And just boom, goes out again because... I'm not sure what that shade was. It goes out again because he doesn't want to lose this to a Stalker very, very quickly. Now, I'm curious to see what ShoWTimE here is going to do. It's going to be able to catch this Zergling, that's for sure. Second Adept is about to pop out as well. And then we're really going to see the difference in build orders. Is it going to be an Oracle first? Is it going to be a Void Ray first? Once again, opening up with a Void Ray first will allow him to get that first Overlord. And no third Adept as of yet. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. It means these Adepts are going to stay home for now. A couple of possible follow-ups are available here for ShoWTimE. He can get a Twilight Council, double Stargate. He can just rush a quick third Nexus as well. There's really a lot of possibilities here. We only see a single Overlord on the side. What the hell is this guy doing? I like that this was the specific location, and now he even moved it away from there. It's like, nah, this isn't good. Let me just put it here. So I see slightly more of the beautiful sea here. I said it's more of a pond, isn't it? You don't have these guys on the sea. It looks like a sea though. Yeah, a river. Probably a river. Looks nice though. Very pretty. I've never seen this before. Probably because I play on terrible graphics when I play the game. Back to the game we have... Yes, here we go. That Twilight Council. 3 gateways being added. On top of the already finished 2. So going to be 5 gate Adept. 5 gate Glaive Adept. With only a single Void Ray to start with. This is gonna hit like a truck. Serral has been quoted before about this build saying, man, this hits like a rock. Which isn't really something you say. So this is gonna hit like a truck in my opinion. Not a big truck. At that we see 4 Adepts already out on the map. Now we're gonna be working in warp-in cycles of 5. Slightly too much gas has been mined, which is not great. I feel like he should have probably pulled out a gas at some point. There we go. Another chrono boost on that glaze. I think we're gonna see 2 more warp-ins. Maybe just 1 more warp-in and then the move out. Sometimes it's hard to judge exactly what the timing is going to be for the Protoss player. You see Void Rays trying to do some damage on the other side. Serral should know something is up. The Roach Warren has been built very rapidly. Evo Chamber is in the wall as well, because there was no block on the natural. It means that that third base isn't quite as populated as it usually is with drones. Now, don't get me wrong. If he were to lose these 9 drones, that'd still not be brilliant, but... this is a big investment from ShoWTimE as well. 14 Adepts, robotics facility, extremely late. Glaive Adept is about to finish up here. As we see, these 14 Adepts actually going to be able to get here at 5:32. What a tight timing this is. I think he can fight this maybe. Oh, he's... Okay, I didn't think he should have targeted the Evo Chamber. I think that might have been a slight error. We have 4 more on the way. Does shade into the main base. Get a bunch of drones here, but with roaches there, very often what happens is that a bunch of Adepts are going to kill drones, bunch of Adepts are going to end up killing roaches. 20 more links are on the way. A couple of roaches already in position at the third base. Units in position at the natural as well, and there's nothing really here to get for ShoWTimE, so this might be a recall or he'll just sacrifice them. Seems like a sacrifice to me. A couple more drones go down, but resources lost usually tells a better tale than word account after these types of fights, because Serral right now, and Zerg right now in general, just knows that there's not going to be any pressure on him and gets the drone up freely to basically any number that he wants. He's killed so many Adepts, 16, that he should be capable of actually just being like, well, that was cool and all, but I'm just gonna drone up. Starts a Spire as well. Spire not uncommon. Swarm host not uncommon, but this Spire is a little bit late, I have to admit. It does surprise me. We see these links moving across the map now. A mistake, a lot of... Oh my god, he's gonna get in. No, he's not. Hello, Blizzard. He's gonna get in. He's gonna get a couple of... workers. But should be cleaned up. Annoying that these Adepts got forced out. It's not great to keep on building Adepts. They do cost a little bit of gas. What I was gonna say is that a lot of lower level Zergs would be like, well, I just killed 20 Adepts. Time to counterattack with these roaches, but because the follow-up often is Immortals, there's batteries available and there's a Void Ray, a small counterattack usually is not the answer. Sometimes you see these big counterattacks where the Zerg is like, you know what, F it, I'm just gonna get 6 queens and walk across the map and get 25 roaches. That can work, but just a counterattack with 7-8 roaches tends to not work, okay? Just tends to not work. This is a wall, by the way, that ShoWTimE stole from a Korean player, and I can't remember who it was. I remember because I was watching a replay, or I was watching on my stream, and ShoWTimE was like, man, that's a really cool wall. I'm gonna steal that. So a little bit of background information on why he's doing that wall. And we got all the inside scoops over here. 8 mutas are starting right now. Cannon goes up in the main base, so does a battery. Is there a battery in the natural? No pylons in position, so you see rapidly warping in these pylons. And hopefully will result into a battery that is in time for this 12 muta list. That's a big muta count, by the way. 4th base relatively late here for Serral. This wall is not yet finished. There's no cannons behind it. This isn't gonna keep anyone out. Trump disapproves of the wall. And so do I. 2 Archons get morphed in. He is aware that there's Phoenixes. We have a cannon rather than a battery. I think that is an incorrect call. Battery is more important than the cannon, because battery not only heals your Phoenixes, but can also heal probes. So it helps against the bounce. And there is a battery here in front. Overcharge gets popped immediately. I think that was a little bit over eager there. Actually have a big miscontrol there by ShoWTimE. Loses a Phoenix for free. Has another Phoenix coming out right now, but Serral is very keen on taking out these Phoenixes. He built 3 more mutas as well. It's gonna clear this battery. That leaves no battery in the natural for now. More roaches being worked in. So another Phoenix goes down. That is the 2nd Phoenix that's going down. Void Ray's gonna fall as well. Actually, that was the 3rd Phoenix already, but it does say the 2nd. And the Blizzard API does not tend to make these mistakes, and I do tend to make these mistakes. I'm gonna call it that. It probably was me misseeing that. We don't have too much more on the way here for Serral. I mean, Hydra then. He's gonna go into Hydra from this? That is highly surprising, honestly. Still 14 Mutalisc Life. Usually you see this followed up with a big Ravager Ling Bane attack. Or even high worker count, 8 gas into that Greater Spire eventually. And then like some Ravager Ling Bane to try and control the map a bit. Try to get some run-bys once that +2 finishes up. Mutalisk are about to pop back in again. No Storm even on the way here, by the way. I was gonna say no Storm finish yet, but it hasn't even started. Good force fields here by ShoWTimE. It's a scary army, eh? It's looking good. Couple of Biles gonna miss absolutely everything. A bit too centered around the same area. 14 Mutalisks. I can't believe these mutas are still alive. That's so insane. His muta control is absolutely bonkers. Just going in, popping out. Dang, dang, dang. We see 9 workers have been killed by Serral. 13 by ShoWTimE, of course, with that early glaive attack. Units lost relatively equal. And we finally see that 4th base go down. Now this wall, I have to admit, I don't quite understand why you build this wall and then take this as a fort. It makes more sense to me to take this as a fort, but I'm not going to question the master. So we see the mutants once again popping in. Gonna take out the battery first, then the cannon. Now Stalker warping will be helpful. There's no +1 on these Phoenixes. I think this is an incorrect call here by ShoWTimE. I think he's misunderstanding his position in this game. I think his position was really good. If he gets Storm out, gets a 4th base, 8 gas, I think he has one hell of a timing with +2. But here, he's gonna be fighting completely on creep against the Zerg that has +2 on Banelings. This is the peak of Zerg. The Zerg isn't going to get a better army than this. This is it, guys. 34 Banelings, like he might increase the Baneling count, but unit comp-wise, this is going to be it for the next 3-4 minutes. There's no Hive on the way yet. ShoWTimE is absolutely overstaying his welcome. He doesn't even have charge. He forgot that. +2 on the way might be followed up by shield here. Would not completely surprise Muta still. I mean, these mutas are so freaking annoying, forcing even more Stalker warp in. Just gonna put the Stalker number on 13. Stalkers are absolutely terrible against Banelings. Here comes a big Ling run by with +2. These guys will make short work of the cannon. Pro pool immediately gets engaged here, but oh my god, ShoWTimE with a terrible army split is gonna get blasted by these Baneling. You see 42 Baneling still on the map. +2 is done for both players. Shield upgrades, like I mentioned, are indeed the choice here for Serral. And because ShoWTimE is so keen on being on the map, clearing that creep and looking for a good engagement, he actually ends up losing that 4th base. Slow Salad Warp in here. No Prism with this army. What is in here? There's 6 Archons and 5 Immortal. That's going to be it, but I think these Banelings might just be a little bit too much as they start rolling forward into those Archons. Split's almost non-existent out of ShoWTimE, and he's gonna get absolutely blasted in this fight as the Prism decides to show up in the dying seconds of this battle as well. Did Serral just accidentally blow up all of his pain lanes? I think he did, but it won't even matter. 181 supply against 82 as Serral puts himself on the board here, and we'll be heading into game number 4. Game number 4 is going to be played here on Pillars of Gold, which is the one map that some people hate for one simple reason, and that's because the minerals here are worse. Now you see there's only really 2 close patches, and the others are slightly further away than on most other maps as well, I believe. So you just have less minerals. This is only an issue in the main base, if I recall correctly. So the race that expands faster has less of a mineral disadvantage, and usually of course that's going to be the Zerg, and another indication that indeed map makers love the Zerg players. I'm just kidding. But it's probably the best for Zerg, eco-wise. The rest of the map, is it good for Zerg? I mean, we have good possibilities here for run-bys. The map is rather long though, and Zerg wants to be the aggressor, because once we hit that very, very late game, TOS tends to thrive. And I'm not talking about 3 Void Rays and 3 carries. I'm talking about that battery-clad Tempest carrier Void Ray Archon Storm army, the real late game. And it's difficult to get there on this map because the first 5 bases are relatively defendable. Once these rocks go down, that's already going to be a little bit harder. But the 6th base is so far out. There's so many paths towards that 6th base. There's infinite rotations that the Zerg can take here with Baneling run-bys, with Lurker armies, that very often these games get decided on 4, perhaps 5 bases. And this looks like a relatively easily defendable base for the Protoss, but you should not forget that these rocks can be taken down, and all of a sudden you're looking at a very, very wide angle that you do need to defend as the Protoss player. Now there is of course some issues for the Zerg as well. You have this dead space, which is absolutely killing if there's a Prism in there, being able to attack both the 4th and the main base with a single 2 supply unit, forcing the Zerg to keep 15, 20 supply at home and making all of his attacks worse or extremely all in, because one big Zealot warp in your main base, your entire army is over here, you're going to be in some trouble. Stargate is on the way here for ShoWTimE once again. With I'm a big fan of these pylons. I'm such a fan of these pylons. This is one of the things I definitely am going to copy in my play, and so should all of you. It just makes perfect sense. Let's put on some music as well, hey? New York, New York. It's not quite as good as the StarCraft music, but we'll have to do until it picks up. There we go. We see Ling here patrolling, well, really just guarding this 3rd base location. It's not quite on it. I love that they have these little marks that show clearly where you have to put your base, or clearly, at least shows where you have to put your base. You know where the middle is. Adapt once again going into Void Ray. I believe this was with a Stargate before Warp Gate. Yep, it was. I'm correct. Yes, that's a link that's gonna get in. So both of these adepts are gonna have to stay. Oh my god, what is this? Uh-oh. What is this? Oracle starts behind this? That is something I like. Gateway? Maybe another. This is gonna be 5K Twilight without a Prism, but with the possibility to reinforce. Oh, I'm such a fan of this build. This is an old classic build. This is an old classic build, and ShoWTimE is pulling it out there. I haven't seen this build in a long time. Yeah, there we go. 5-gate. Oh man. Oh boy. Now this is the same build that he played last game, except he's going to be able to reinforce. Sometimes we even see the Robo being placed over here and a follow-up Immortal then coming out of this. Not uncommon. Are we gonna see that? We see the probe is staying here. Well, why doesn't he just send it back? Well, if Serral sees a probe coming back from that angle at this point, he's gonna put 1 and 1 together. And 1 and 1 in Serral's mind still is exactly 2. Gonna put 2 and 2 together. And for yes, there we go, Robo facility. This is going to end up being An Immortal in from this location. He can warp in on the low ground, but he doesn't want to show his hand yet. So I think all other reinforcements will be warped in on the low ground. You also see that the pylon is well protected by buildings, which means one of these major buildings, these big 3x3 buildings with a lot of HP, needs to be taken out first before you see anything else. Now, you might be thinking, well, Serral surely knows something is up. And I say yes, Serral probably does know something up. But here ShoWTimE makes an error. I don't think he should be sending these across the map. I think he should have kept those at home for as long as possible. And keep the Zerglings, the spotter Zerglings alive. The moment Serral doesn't see a move out, he's not going to be building roaches. Here come the adepts, trying to shade into the main base. There's not a single roach out yet. 4 roaches did just pop. These lings are going to die. These queens, I think, are going to fall as well. Why is he shading away? Okay, he tries to shade into the main base. Not quite going to work. It's going to end up... Oh, this is not how you want to do it, I think. This was not quite brilliant. Void Ray still looking for... Oh, he's going to find this randomo. He insta-activates it. That was so fast, oh my god. While microing these adapts. ShoWTimE is so insane in this game, it's actually crazy. Is it going to be enough though, if we have an honest look at this game right now? 48 workers against 45. Is Serral aware that there is 3 gateways and a robo over here? He hasn't seen it, but I think he might be aware. It wouldn't surprise me if he sends one ling up here and tries to figure out exactly what is going on. A couple of sentries being warped in. We see no drones being produced. 4 overlords on the way as well as some ravagers. Yes, Serral definitely knows what's kicking off. Here go the links. Going to be looking for the potential warp in location. And he finds it. Now he's going to start attacking that pylon. Ooh, needs to be careful to not get surrounded with these links actually. And he's definitely in danger of being surrounded. I think these links are just dead. If ShoWTimE does not mess this up, force field, good. Only using 2 force fields for this. That is very, very clean here. By the German Protoss player called Die Mauer. Because he looks a bit like a wall in-game. He does not actually have the same properties as a wall in real life. It's not that I'm aware of. It's not built of stone. He has emotions. We have 6 sentries here, 3 immortals, and 13 adepts. This is going to depend on the force field, but in my mind, Serral has a good setup here. A couple of balls are hitting. Force field. I'm not even a fan of the Guardian Shield here, simply because the force fields are so important that wasting energy on non-force field things can really backfire. And I think Serral is just... I thought this was going to be way closer, but Serral just kind of clowns on him, honestly, here. Bal micro on point is not losing unnecessary units. Still has a bunch of transfuses ready as well. I think 1 at least. Yes, there it goes. A couple more transfuses about to come online, and Serral's just in a very, very good position here. This prism surely is going to fall, not quick enough. With the reposition, GG gets called, and ShoWTimE loses game number 4 as Serral ties up this series 2-2. Yes. Game number 5 here between Serral and ShoWTimE, and we see ShoWTimE immediately sending out that scout. He's had enough of it. He don't care no more. He wants to get rid of that natural hatchery that Serral so adores. Why can't I follow it? There we go. I was pressing the wrong buttons. So yeah, it's going to be able to definitely make sure that this natural does not get built on location. Serral will notice that, of course. This is a very fast block, by the way. Holy crap. Arrives at 36. Probably would be in time to build to block a 14 hatch, which is the hatchery before first overlord. It's not really a hatchery timing. Tend to not be a massive fan of that one. See gateway here in the natural for ShoWTimE. Of course, standard stuff. Now I want to see where I build a pylon over here or something made. I've been loving that pylon placement. Let me tell you that. That's the one thing I love of this series. Seeing this guy build his pylons in different locations every single game. Hatchery goes down on the natural here for Serral as well. Wait, what happened here? Oh, it was a pool first. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so he does get this natural down. This is what I was talking about earlier as well. This is a possibility. Let's see what ShoWTimE decides to do. So he plays core first. Second pylon in the wall. Yes, this is theory, my friends. This is theory right here. This is perfect. Now, ideally, he would have had the block on this. You can also play like this, I believe, in Nexus before core, but against 6 Ling openers, it is a little bit more tight. If you play Nexus before core, because you might lose a pylon. What he's gonna do is he's gonna start this adept, he's gonna chrono it, and then he needs to temporarily build a pylon, a battery, a gateway, whatever it is here. So if you play against 6 Lings, and you go Nexus before core, because your adept is a little later, you might lose this pylon. But against 2 Lings, there's no such risk on that. So you're most of the time just going to be safe. So we see him build a battery, loses 25 minerals, but this is a nice little start here for ShoWTimE, who's going to be just fine, honestly. Oh, he should have gotten that kill. Oh, he believes there is a second pair of links on the map, maybe. No, he just messed up. He just messed up. There's no such thing as a second pair of links on the map. He saw that with his probe, that wasn't the case. Stargate does go down here, and so does the warp gate. You know, warp gate doesn't really go down, it starts. The research starts. We need 2 more links on the way, 4 links already in total. It's gonna go up to 6. ShoWTimE might be able to actually clear one of these links. He's not paying attention again. That's the second link he could have gotten for free, but does not do it. So those are the little things that show whether a player is in it, you know, in it to win it. I think ShoWTimE is in it to win it, but he's not very tight right now. He's not playing too tight. I wonder how he's gonna fix this wall. This is an atrocity. Not the greatest way to fix it, but I mean, it works. Like, this is a single whole wall, but it's so ugly with the pylon in front. 2 adepts are gonna make their way across the map. Gonna force out at least 2 more links, so up to 8 links right now. That is Serral. 28 workers against 33. As we have the first Void Ray about to pop out. Serral not yet ready with a follow-up Overlord. Should have probably expected this. Is he gonna double Overlord? There's no indication of that. I think he should probably. Oracle as a follow-up here. What do we see? Double gas coming out for our good friend ShoWTimE. Gas. 2 adepts. And what seems to be a pretty decent start here for ShoWTimE, honestly. I don't mind this. He's up 5 workers, Overlord speed on the way, but also lost a Void Ray already. He's very curious what's going to happen here. Serral did kind of get blindsided the last 2 games. He does not want that to happen again. Perhaps afraid of something like a double Stargate Phoenix off of this. It is possible, of course, that Void Ray Oracle into double Stargate Phoenix. We're seeing a very quick. This is a well-timed robotics facility. Now, I don't quite know why this is such a quick robotics facility off of 2 Stargate units rather than 3 Stargate, but I have some theories. The first theory that I have is that ShoWTimE is afraid of Swarm Host. Now, you might say, well, Swarm Host, Serral, I don't think so, but Oxide is an extremely good map for Swarm Host. The rush distance is relatively small. You have this area which you can easily get to. If you can clear these rocks, you can basically launch your Swarm Host anywhere, and you have a natural choke here, which if your roaches kind of stand behind, you can keep this position for a very long time quite easily. Is there a spore here? I can't see it. There is a spore. Stasis goes down, does not do anything. Oracle's gonna move behind. No, he's gonna get another stasis. Is not gonna do the job though. It's 3 drones. 4 drones total with 2 stasis, 100 energy for temporary disabling of mining. It's not the worst thing in the world. 4 sentries, 2 extra gateways, and an immortal. I think he wants to push out with this little army. He wants to push out with this tiny, mini army. And from there on out, most likely see if he can do something about... yeah, it's actually going to be Swarm Host. Wow. I'm not surprised by this. This is a really good map for Swarm Host, and Serral has been struggling a little bit in the real games, the macro games against ShoWTimE here. And Swarm Host is a good way to go about it. It just is, trust me. A couple of roaches coming out. Serral already on 68 workers, of course. This is the ideal worker count for Swarm Host. Now, very often, you still see the Zergs going up to 8 gases off of a very low drone count. This is to afford A, a lot of Ravagers, and B, to afford those Swarm Hosts, which Both of these units are relatively gas intensive. 4 more gateways on the way for ShoWTimE as well. It's gonna propel him up to 8. No cannon behind this yet. And here comes this little move out that I was talking about. Jumps on the queens. He's gonna be able to get them most likely eventually, but he's gonna lose a fair amount of energy for it. Killing these queens would be useful though. Oh my god, it's not gonna get them. Oh, what a disaster. Yeah, this is not good. And I'm not just saying that because the unit lost that looks bad, but also he loses a lot of his energy-based units. He loses an Immortal, which is particularly painful. It's gonna be a Prism out. Is he gonna use it for counter-attacks, or is he gonna use it to stay at home to help micro against these nasty freaking Swarm hosts? How many do we have? 10 Swarm hosts out on the map already. There is an Oracle over here. Void Ray moving towards the right side and just gonna patrol this area. Wouldn't mind if he patrolled this area. This seems a more realistic area to patrol here, ShoWTimE. Oracle's gonna spot what's kicking off here. And ShoWTimE wants to force these locusts as far away from his third base as possible. Is he thinking about a fourth base? Nah, he can't be serious. He can't be serious. He's gonna get 2 Swarm hosts for free here. Pulls back. He's not gonna lose anything. This was a perfect engagement for ShoWTimE here. He gets 2 Swarm hosts for free and forces a pretty far away Locust wave, meaning these Locusts are gonna run out rather sooner than later. No Storm on the way yet. 2 more Swarm hosts are coming out. Good first defense for how bad that earlier attack went, that earlier engage. I'm kind of a fan of how this went. Where's the Void Ray? Void Ray still on the right side. ShoWTimE once again pushing forward, moving back with those Zealots. Does not want to lose them into the Roach. Instead wants to tank with the Archons, wants to do damage with the Immortals. There's not a whole lot here for Serral, honestly. Where's the Queens? Serral right now on 0 Queens. What happened? He must have lost the Queen somewhere. At this point, I mean, the Void Rays are just gonna reign supreme, no? Where's the Prism? Prism can pick up this Archon. ShoWTimE just in time. Solid play, solid play. A couple of Roaches here are being annoying. A little Pesk. Another Locust wave that does absolutely nothing. Here we have a rotation coming out of Serral. Wants to get something done with these Locusts. Perhaps go for a main base. Perhaps go for a natural. Don't forget, ShoWTimE was forced to cancel this fort, but he's in a very good position right now. He's pushing 150 supply, and that's kind of the magical barrier. 150, 160 supply. Once you reach that, you usually get to a point where you can kind of fight a full Locust wave without losing too much, if it's just a Locust. Now, if there's Roaches there, of course, you're still going to lose things, but that's not the case this time. This is only six Locusts. Barely gonna get a worker. 2 workers go down here. Locust wave tries to go for a flank, but there's just not... It's not really a flank. ShoWTimE can just burst through on one side. It's like, well, that flank was crap. Once again, Swarm hosts are on cooldown. Is ShoWTimE actually gonna attack? I wouldn't mind if he clears a little bit of creep and then kind of goes back and gets Storm, or continues just moving with this big Archon count, this big Immortal count that he has. Well, it's 5 Immortals already. This is a massive army. I love this Zealot run by the way. I think that's a very, very good move. Nidus Network coming down. Serral lost all map control. He needs to use a Nidus Network from here on out in order to get into positions. He can't afford to lose any Swarmers for free to a Void Ray or to a random Zealot run by. Serral actually getting in a pretty decent position here. Here comes another Locust wave, but once again, Locust wave without Roach support, barely gonna kill anything. Actually not gonna kill anything. Serral tries to get into the natural, but ShoWTimE says, I have an Immortal there, I have a Super Battery, I have a Sentry. What are you gonna do now, my friend? Serral thinks he can push on, but I don't think that's the case. There's 6 Immortals here, there's Archons, there's good force fields, a lot of the Ravagers are going down. This is looking very, very bad here for Serral, who managed to snipe 1 Archon there. The one thing that Serral still has that can kind of help him is perhaps if he takes down this fort base. If he can spread ShoWTimE so thin, perhaps it is possible. Where are those Swarm hosts? This is a weird location for a Nidus if you have Swarm hosts. You would expect it here or maybe here, but this? I do not understand it. Where are the Swarm hosts now? Okay, they're just walking again. Yeah, this is I know, this feels a little bit late with the Nidus over here. The Nidus was a good surprise because ShoWTimE was not aware of that yet. Now he's probably going to be looking for it. I mean, this is more of a mechanism with this Nidus that's like, hey, you can retreat safely rather than it is to pop him out. Nidus into the main base. This just... I'm not a fan of the Nidus placement so far in this game, but perhaps Serral has some great ideas here. Zealots are going to be able to take out this Nidus, I do believe. Locust will be able to take out this base. Perhaps even go for that force. That would be brilliant. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE is pushing forward. His army is running a little bit lower. We see a Nidus here at the 4th base as well. Now, if Serral takes out 2 bases, that could be a pretty big deal. This game just kind of turned interesting here with ShoWTimE not being too careful anymore about Nidus placements, about what the swarm hosts were doing. Oh, the question... So, technically, this base could die. This base, in all honesty, could be gone. With the next Locust wave. On the other hand, the question is, can Serral afford to send a full wave over there? And Serral thinks he can. Here go the Locusts. 1 Zealot goes down. This base is gonna fall for sure. Maybe the probes even go down here. That would be a big deal. This is putting ShoWTimE at an extreme all-in. He still has a lot of money in the bank. He has +3 halfway done. He's not gonna finish before this engagement. Another Archon will fall here. Prism is still alive though. Decent forces are gonna take out some of these roaches. 41 supply against 63. This base falls. Income is pretty even. All these swarmos need to walk back right now. There is a Nidus here, so he can pop them out of this Nidus worm. 5 workers are going down. 57 workers against 41. Serral is losing a bunch of extra workers here. But in these low eco situations, very often swarm hosts are way superior to Protoss because they kind of function as economy in a way where they're free units. Serral cancels this base. It's like, okay, you probably wanted to attack that. We have another swarm host base, and this is what I mean. So the income still is in favor here of ShoWTimE, but you're just gonna keep losing things for free. That's just painful to see. Would it might see Serral re-expand at 2 locations at once, but he just doesn't have the money for it. A couple of good Ravager Battles perhaps to slow the advance of this army. Brilliant force fields of ShoWTimE. He's gonna catch a lot of the roaches. Swarm hosts are moving back. 1 Immortal. I'm not even sure what this guy is doing. He's gonna catch some of these swarm hosts. I think Serral's army just might be a little bit too small, but he's definitely still trying to make a game out of it. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Serral, I'm not sure what he wants to do. I mean, I don't even know what he should be doing right here. A couple of Biles are gonna hit some of these sentries, but there's so many Immortals here, and there's just not enough ShoWTimE, it seems like. Or not enough Serral, it seems like. Archon is gonna annoy these swarm hosts as well. He's gonna end up falling. +3 has finished at this point. Supplies are so close. Oh my god. This is absolutely mental. It's a 1 base against 1 base. And Serral calls it as it is. He says, good game, my friend. You won. Congratulations. And ShoWTimE takes the series 3-2. Beating Serral in a ZVP. Something that hasn't happened very recently where people beat Serral in a ZVP. ShoWTimE managed to do it. Alright, that's gonna be it for me today. If you did enjoy this, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to leave a like on this video, that helps me a lot as well. And I hope to see you all next time for a new video. Bye bye.